That's my intro is just me laughing.
It's a good entrance.
Welcome back, everybody, to Some Parts Not Included. My name is Amanda Marie. I am a right leg amputee, and these are my amazing friends and co-hosts.
I'm Jamie.
And I am James.
It's Amanda and the Jameses.
Yeah, I was like,
Amanda and the Jameses.
I didn't think this through, actually.
And Jamie and I are arm amputees, opposite side below the elbow. We should probably say that too. Amanda is our lovely leg amputee.
A lovely leg amputee. I love
like
the
that?
alliteration.
As a team, James and I actually have the full set, so you have the other one. Oh,
Once
dang it, it's on the wrong side.
I feel left out. Just kidding.
No, I'm the one with the left out.
Oh.
Please don't put that in.
I promise you, it's not coming out.
It'll be real.
So today we're going to start off by talking about how being an amputee affects what clothing we buy or what we wear. I assumed it was going to affect you because I instantly was like, I can't imagine just having a sleeve dangling and getting caught and everything all the time.
Yes, precisely.
Definitely, yeah.
It's more so just than the fact that you try and alter what you're buying, but it's also what you do to your clothing as an amputee. But when it comes to buying clothes, at least for an arm amputee for me, I think now that as I'm an adult, it was different when I was a kid, but as an adult, I feel like it's not as hard anymore. I just, stick with the t-shirts but I do like to wear long sleeve shirts. That's one thing. Sometimes I don't know why. I just don't like the t-shirt. I like for it to come down past my residual limb. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but that's why I like wearing, precisely in the summer, I like wearing the 3/4 shirts. And when I do wear a t-shirt like I'm wearing today, I usually wear like a sleeve that covers up this like transition to the arm, because I don't know, for me, it's like this arm is much bigger than this arm. So it's like, it just doesn't look right to me. It's like this weird thing with clothing and t-shirts. So I guess t-shirts is my thing. As an arm amputee, it's like
feeling. Is that what you're talking about? Or like
it's a balance thing for me. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't look like my right arm, the muscles and the arm is much bigger than my left arm. And so it just looks off to me. So I want to put something there that like pads it up a bit and looks like a little bit more equal.
Yeah.
I'm like all about balance. So I want it to be like symmetrical and look kind of the same. So I guess with t-shirts and stuff, that's why I always wear like sleeves if I'm wearing my prosthesis. But again, when I'm not wearing around the house, obviously around the house I don't really care, and not that I really care that much out in public. It's just a little thing personally I like to do, I guess.
For me, it's very like, I specifically, when I look for like long sleeves or jackets or coats or whatever, my artificial limb doesn't fit in every sleeve. So that one's actually a really difficult thing for me. So sometimes, especially in women's clothing, like the sleeves are much smaller. And so fitting an artificial limb.
Hand. Is that what you mean? Like the hand?
Yeah, exactly. Because my hand can't like do this, to go through like, right? Yeah. To go through a sleeve. So it's much more difficult to like find things like that. I find. I also think that when it comes to things with like jackets and coats and stuff, I prefer for the zipper to be on the left side, because it is much more difficult if it's on the right side. So that's something else to think about as well, is that in a lot of cases, James is like, oh my God.
I'm processing what you said. Do they come on different sides?
They do. It all depends on men and women's clothing.
Oh man, when you were talking there, I was just thinking like how much worse it must be for women's clothing. When you start talking about the tightness, I'm like, oh my God. And women's clothing is always so much more like unique and
fitted,
different types of shirts, and like, man, it's like a t-shirt or a button-up shirt. It's like two different things you wear, really. Sweater, a long sleeve shirt. Women, sometimes I pick up like, girlfriends, exes, whatever you want to say, shirts, and I'm like, how does this even work? Like, I don't even understand how you put this on. This doesn't even make
Yeah.
sense to me.
Anything laced up is a nightmare.
No, I know, no doubt.
And I've had a few shirts like that too, and I've been like, oh, they're so fun, but definitely a nightmare to like lace them up. But yeah, so zippers for me, like especially with coats and jackets, definitely paid a lot of attention to that. And then also metal zippers, because they're much more finicky. So if you get like the plastic zippers versus the metal ones, because the metal ones catch much easier. And so if you get plastic zippers, it is often easier for me to like do up the zipper without it catching too much. Because for me, like I bend down and I like crouch down and like have to like pull on the zipper and like focus, especially because my parket, like it goes down. James knows how much of a big giant winter coats I wear. Like it goes down to
So
my
you bend
knees.
it down to your ankles to put it on.
Yeah. So
Again, how do you do that? I don't even know how you do that. You should zip it up
struggle.
halfway and then like slide into it.
I
yeah,
struggle with
basically.
long
Genie
coats
into
like
it.
that. Oh,
Does
but
it
that,
stick out where your prosthetic is? Because your prosthetic goes kind of up your hip, right, and around.
yeah,
That must make it
no, and
worse.
yes. So actually, pants are really anything bottom related is really annoying to find for me. One like, and I wondered if you guys have the same issue, but material of pant is problematic sometimes with my leg because either it'll like rise up and then I don't realize I'm walking around with like one pant leg up and then you're just like, yeah, I'm cool, like LL Cool J leg style back in the day. And then sometimes I'm too tired to bend down and fix that. So I'm just gonna like leave it because it's just gonna keep going back up. But a bigger problem for me, like that's a small annoyance, I guess. So I'm constantly just taking my one foot and like almost like a grasshopper, I'll like push it down with my one foot periodically. But the holes in my pants is a problem all the time. I've literally worn a pants for like 5 minutes and my artificial leg puts a hole in them.
Yeah, for sure. I forgot about holes. 100% holes. Yeah, every long sleeve I have, eventually there's a hole on
Holes.
the elbow where it wears on the prosthetic because the prosthetic's
Yeah.
so hard. So if it hits anything else hard, it wears holes here. So anywhere along your prosthetic that you like continuously hit things, rub up against
Yeah.
things, it will create holes.
That's
Yes,
my
holes.
biggest problem, which, so for me, my prosthesis goes so high up, it's in my groin, and that's where it ends. And so, therefore, that's where it likes to create holes in my pants as well.
Okay.
So,
That's not a good spot.
well, depends how you want to look at it, James, but and where you're going. But I
Yeah.
frequently, before I leave the house, have to check my pants, and I'm literally like, I do like a light test. Like I'll hold it up because I just wear like black yoga pants all the time because it is the easiest. I have a huge problem with just like that. Again, this isn't an amputee related thing, but just like my body proportions are just annoying to find most pants. Like I hate jeans. Like who is wearing jeans? I don't
I
know.
don't
Like,
wear jeans, really.
do you
Ever.
wear a jean jacket though?
Never. Never would I ever wear one.
So is it because of like,
Not my
because I feel
style.
like it's uncomfy with the artificial leg when I'm moving around. I'm like, this is like a lot of stiff.
A jean jackets. Oh my! I've never worn a jean jacket because they don't seem like they would ever be comfortable. Or I personally don't think I look good in them, or they look good on other people. So.
Oh, I like them on other people. Like I wish I could wear them.
Oh, I'm kidding. My dad wore. It's funny I say that because that's a little poke at my dad because my dad wore jean jackets forever, but he looked good in it. I didn't. He was
Any
more
like
built. He would like fill out the jean jacket.
I
It's the
feel like
style.
any stiff material is really tough. Like I find myself if I'm wearing like any stiff jackets or stiff material, like I'll do like this whole like and like pull on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I do kind of the same thing, but like a squat and a pull up, which I can't really show you guys technically
Oh
right
man.
now, but I totally get what you're talking
But I
about.
tear all the lining in like a lot of my jackets, especially if it's like stiffer material. I tear the lining very easily.
On
Because
the
I'm just
inside, yeah, the inside. Obviously, the lining.
Yeah.
Do
Because
you
I was
have a
thinking,
certain type of, like,
I
I
do
know
that
you
too.
talked about long sleeve versus short sleeve, but like t-shirt versus other type of materials? Is dry wick something that makes it like easier for you? How, if you wear that kind of stuff? I don't know.
For me, it's just anything that's stretchy. I think that anything that has some stretch to it is just so much easier to work with because you're not
Yeah.
feeling like it's getting caught on everything. Like it basically, for people who have never worn an artificial limb, like basically think about your arm and like any parts of your arm or any parts of your leg just getting stuck to a material and like not moving, even though you're moving. So it's so frustrating. It gets
Because
like,
most limbs are like rubber or silicone or
yeah,
Yeah.
materials like are so sticky to like linen type material.
frustrating.
And actually,
Very
right now,
frustrating.
I don't even have a cover on my leg. I'm just rocking the inside bones. And one reason I don't mind is because I don't have to act like a grasshopper all the time and like pull my pant leg down. It stays down a lot better because it's just a pull. But there are other reasons, and I wouldn't say mine are like I have actually gotten to a point now, and I was like this a lot growing up, that I don't really care about the cover or not. I think it's like fun to pick them out, and I do love the new unique ones I've been getting. But there's pros and cons to them as well, I find. So for
Hmm.
me, the not having it, the pro is like my pants actually lay nicer, but then the con to it is I have a very muscular leg and then
Hmm.
a stick on the
I
other
can. That's
side.
the thing that I couldn't do. Right, the balance thing. That's what I'd have to.
It
You know,
doesn't bother me most of the time, like, I'd say 99% of the time, but if it's, like, a windy day or, really cold outside, like, sometimes the wind will catch on my pants and, like, flap them around, and then it makes it really hard to walk. It's like throwing my gait off because the wind is catching
you got a leg that's like
Like
acting
a
like a
sail.
sail. You already have a hard enough time walking around in the winter and on ice as it is. You
Yeah.
don't need a
Yeah,
sail
yeah.
attached to you.
So, or it gets like the pole gets so cold on it because it's metal. So then when it touches your actual skin, it's very painful, right? Like just if you bang it or whatever, it's like you're literally just taking a hammer and just being like to your other leg. So that's fun. So yeah, definitely pros and cons. But when I was younger, I never wore one either. I got told the only reason why I started wearing covers on my leg, I used to play indoor soccer for a house league team, and I was a goalie. And at the time, they told me that I wasn't allowed to play until I got a cover put on it. Because otherwise, if someone wanted to tackle me and they hurt themselves, I could be charged like I hurt them with a weapon, like it's assault with a weapon.
What about them hurting you, tackling you? A person with
What if
one leg up to their hip.
also, like, correct, James? This is a house league team, and I'm a goalie in soccer. The
Oh,
rule
I thought this was like the pros.
yeah, like, in
Jesus
what
Christ, why
universe?
is there contact?
That's it's a no contact sport. Like, it's a
How
no
old were
contact
you?
sport. You're playing inside. It doesn't even make sense at all. They didn't know, obviously, how to handle the situation, or somebody made a comment, and that was the follow up to it. So I had to go a few weeks without playing until I was allowed a foam cover. I'm not sure if that's a funny story.
You should have fought that.
One
There's
of
lots
the
of things I
yeah,
probably should have fought in my life, but
one of the
sometimes
other things that I really focus on when I'm getting like new clothes and stuff like that is that I make sure I don't buy anything that can be stained easily, because as an arm amputee, I hold everything against my body. So I find that like I stain everything. Like I'm such a spilly girl. Like everything has some sort of stain on it. Like like one of the worst things I think ever is when you're cutting like peppers or something like that for dinner. Like, you're chopping peppers and like a red pepper, and then like you have it like closer to your body because you're like pushing it or holding it or whatever, and you're chopping it, and then all of a sudden like the pepper juice stains your shirt and
This is the whole other side to the clothing story. Is the
absolutely.
what we do to clothes as amputees. with our just either wearing our limbs with the holes or just like exactly what you just said. Holding things against the body is the worst. Like especially when you're like you got everything in this hand and you're holding something against it's like food and you're trying to like walk it to the table and then you look at your shirt after and it's just like covered in stuff and like
I wouldn't even have thought of that, but that's true.
we
I
hold everything against our
also
body, so it's you spill it's, all the time too. It's always the drink that you're like trying to steady here. You're like holding the drink and your plate of food, and it like your drink easily spills on you all the time. Oh, it's ridiculous. So many
Have you
clothes are
ever,
stained
James?
because of that.
James, have you ever been holding a drink? It's just one of those automatic things, and you bend down to like pick
Oh my
something up,
god, yeah,
and
I've
it
done
just
that
pours
before.
out.
I, I do that once a week.
okay, but I also relate, and I've got both my hands, so I don't know what the excuse is.
I'm just like a spilly person, like Jamie said. We, my friend in high school, we used to have this. It's so stupid, but we had the spiller salute, and it was like a backwards hand high five instead of high five in this way, a high five this way. I don't know why that came to my mind because I just spilled everything all day, every day, and so did he. So we formed like a spilling club. We were spillers.
That's
We were
hilarious.
I
spilly
like it.
people.
It's
Hmm.
that's usually why I just don't buy white, and if I own it, I wear it very sparingly.
Yep. Special occasions when I'm
Yeah,
not
I
eating.
I
wear
literally will
dark
take it
clothes.
off to eat or do certain things and then put it aside, or like I just wear it out.
It's not even food. It's just like it's anything like
Anything. Yeah.
holding a tool, holding anything that could have like dirt on it, whatever. You just
Yeah.
hold things against. You just hold stuff with the nub, and then you realize after that you got your shirt dirty because you're pretty much just holding it with your into your clothes. You're like holding whatever it is into your clothes. So tons of dirty clothes, and then that costs amputees more money too because you have to
Yes.
go out and buy more,
Yes.
buy more clothes all the time. So we're spending more money on clothes.
I feel this way about socks and shoes. I spend a stupid amount on them. I wear through the sock on my artificial foot really badly. So I find it uncomfortable to wear. Like if I've been wearing a sock on that foot, I don't like to wear it on my real foot because the foot's made out of carbon fiber, and so it actually like wears the sock down
Oh
a
yeah.
lot. And then furthermore, it just puts a lot of holes in the sock,
Don't you
which
have a foot shell that it, you,
yes, but honestly, they will burn through a foot shell quite quickly too.
the foot
Really?
shell burns through the sock? You mean
The carbon fiber just goes through right
through
all
the
of it.
foot shell?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've had this happen several times, but once it starts to crack the foot shell, like I need to call my prosthetist and be like, yo, I got a problem because it starts to go really fast through. Then it obviously wears out like socks, shoes, that kind of thing. But shockingly, I wear my shoe out on my real foot way faster. So I have like an abundance of all these old shoes where my left one, where my real foot goes in, is worn right down, like there's a hole through it. And then the right side looks brand new.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. So for leg amputees, it's shoes that you have like an abundance of one good, one bad. And for arm amputees, how about buying gloves? Isn't that annoying for arm amputees? That's like one things with like that's got to be the most annoying thing about clothing, like buying clothing. I didn't even think of that till now. Is buying gloves because you
And mittens.
and mittens. Like you can wear the mitten on the nub. Actually, mittens are great because mittens without the fingers, right? The mittens will go over like one of these devices, and they'll go over my other prosthetic hands. So it's like, except for the silicone ones, they can be so hard to get the glove on that it's like I don't even care to look
Question: do you ever just
balanced.
say, "Screw it, I'm not wearing it on my
Like
prosthesis"?
50% of the time. Like
Yeah,
no,
I
like
don't.
80% of the time. 80% of the
Okay,
time.
because I was gonna
Like
say, I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah,
When I'm just running outside to go like throw my garbage out or something, I'm just throwing a shoe on one
I
foot.
hate. Okay,
It's
so like
not
I
the
hate
two.
wearing one glove. Someone once I went through a drive-through Tim Hortons. They said, I went to grab the drink and I had the glove in the one hand and I had the prosthetic hand with no glove in there. And they said something, they made a Michael Jackson comment. They're like, what are you, Michael Jackson or something like that? I'm like, what?
I
I'm
was
like,
about to
one,
also make
one
that. I
glove.
was
I'm
gonna
like,
be like,
yeah, I
"Are you
guess.
just doing MJ style with one hand?" Because I would. I don't know. I was about to say the
Absolutely.
exact same thing.
I
I was
never
like, I
ever,
don't even know how to respond to it. I was just like,
I
Yes.
never ever wear a glove or mitten on the right side ever.
Yeah,
yeah, I do.
I
It's
was
that
just
balance
thinking,
thing. I
I could
need to
be
look.
like,
It
what's
needs.
the
I
point?
hate. Yeah, but
Balance.
usually no, I don't. And so buying gloves is a pain in the butt because you get. I have so many left-hand gloves that are pristine and I can't use, and that's why like it's good to like try and join like a amputee community group, just and like everyone share their left or rights, their solo left and rights with
Yeah, but
everybody.
there's a problem with shoe. Like I've never found someone who's
Shoes are
gonna wear
different.
the same shoe, the same size, the opposite. Like if you exist in this world, like I take a size 8 in men's because that's usually what I wear. Skater shoe. I usually honestly have bought the same pair of etnies for like 5 times in a row. Just a black basic pair. But I'm not sporting them right now, which is funny enough. I have to
Those are nice. I've seen them. I like those.
because I've been wearing them for so long.
That's your.
I just buy they're like one of the classic ones out there. And
Mhm.
so
No, you
actually
need to
no,
get.
they're
They have.
not. They're DC's. I lied to you. They're my DC ones.
There are Etnies shoes with Michelin rubber soles.
Yeah,
And they're
they're
super durable. Have you ever worn those?
I don't think I've worn those specific ones, but I used to wear etnies a lot
An
growing up.
amputee friend of mine that skateboards, who's a leg amp, whom you know, his name is Timmy. I don't know.
Hey, we have to
Hopefully, we'll
pause
get him on
anyway
here
because
one
my
day
cat
because
is
he'll join us one
driving me.
day on the podcast, I'm sure.
Oh, down. Sit down.
He has a pair of those etnies and he swears by them because they last a lot longer. The bottoms of his soles always wear out so fast.
Oh,
Of course, he skateboards and he pushes with his prosthetic foot.
yeah, yeah.
So you can imagine how many foot shells he's going through because he pushes his carbon fiber foot right through the foot shell. Oh,
Probably
he
painful.
always has multiple foot shells
Sucks.
because he's so active and he's
Yeah.
constantly right. So, and that's just the and that's the reality for amputees. It's like if you want to be active, you go through that stuff a lot. And shoes.
Um,
Why are you laughing?
it's a cat. The cat
Oh,
wants
right. Yeah.
toy.
Okay. I thought I had something on my face.
So what about adapting your clothing?
Yeah. A whole other side to it. Clothing alterations for amputees. For me, I never really had the alterations done, I don't think. But I know a lot of amputees that did. And then when their kids grow out of mainly for kids, and when their kids grow out of it, you see them like post on Facebook like, hey, I got this like 3T, 4T snowsuit that's been adapted for an arm amputee. And they pass it on to the next person, which is awesome. And now with an amputee kid with the same amputation, like an arm amputation, it is so frustrating for me and for her because just the dangling sleeve, she wants it rolled up all the time, right? So it's like when it dangles, it does no good for you.
Yeah.
But since she just got her myoelectric now, which is awesome, by the way, so good. I try to get her to wear her myoelectric when she wears her winter jackets because she fills the jacket out more with the arm and it keeps her, it keeps her nubby warm. So that's another thing. It's like we live in Canada, so
Oh,
we all have
Yeah.
to wear gloves and like, I don't know about you guys. I know Jamie, you have a huge problem with this circulation, right? Like your nub
Yeah.
gets really cold. I used to work with Jamie, and we said this before, but 10 years I worked with Jamie, and there would be times I would look over at the cubicle, and your nub was like purple, and I was like, dude, what's going on? Like your arm is like blue. Like, oh yeah, like bad circulation. It's cold. You had to cover it up. I'm sure you have more of a problem with that in the winter.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely always wanted to like cover it up. So for me, I don't. Sorry, he's not gonna leave me alone. I apologize.
it's
for him.
fine. It's fine. He
Everyone
has his
loves it.
emotional
Everyone
support
loves a
system.
cat.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I usually like to wrap my arm in whatever sleeve is dangling because it actually helps with keeping it warm. And
Mhm.
or
You
I
put a knot in the end of it, you mean?
yeah, or just wrap it on my arm. Just
Like
wrap it. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Bam, but it comes off easy.
It does, yeah. The other option too, like when I was growing up, my parents used to just roll it up, so it would be like doubled or tripled, right around
Yeah.
the end of my stump, and that was really good too. That really helped. Um, the other thing too, like my parents used to just put socks on my stump too to keep it warm, instead of using gloves
Yep.
or anything like that, and that was great for me. It was easy for me, and sometimes if it's especially cold, then I'll do it. It's
I
pretty
do that
cold right
too.
now. Like it's pretty purple right now,
Oh
actually.
yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
that. She's leaving little imprints.
Mine does that too. Not that I wear my artificial leg all the time anymore because I work from home, so I don't want to. There's definitely that like temperature fluctuation that's so drastic, taking it on and off, right? Your artificial limb. So, for those that aren't aware, our heat escapes our body through our extremities, so our hands and our legs. So, when you are an amputee, that it still shoots down to get rid of your heat. But if you're wearing a prosthetic, it will basically, like, let's pretend this is a prosthetic on me, the heat will shoot down, but then it has nowhere to go because it's not real, and it shoots back up into your body and makes you hot and sweat a lot more. To counteract that, when you take your prosthetic off, I don't know about you guys, I have the exact opposite effect where I'm like, it's a lot colder for me. Like my body has a harder time adjusting, and I feel a lot more cold.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. I would
Interesting.
say that I feel the heat so much more, for sure,
Yeah.
and that definitely really affects me, especially in the summertime. Like, I will wear, like more of like less sleeves and things like that, and really kind of focus on that for
I
sure.
think you guys run a bit hotter than I do naturally because I don't have too many issues with that. I have issues sweating when I'm playing sports and I'm wearing my arm and it will definitely come off. Um, Depending what I'm doing, yeah. And if we're talking about the hot months, yeah, I slide
Oh,
around in the socket and slide off all the time. But like you're saying that when you take it off, even in the summer, it's like cold or
not right away it's cold, just my body's so used to that heat staying at that temperature that when
hmm
I take it off, like let's say I take it off and I like go to bed, or I'm just sitting on the couch to watch a movie, I'll feel a lot more cool quickly. Like it'll cool me down really fast. And then if it's been sweaty, you deal with a cold sweat feeling. So I just
yeah.
feel like I have to wrap myself in like more blankets, or just like my stump in more
What
blankets.
about what about in the winter? Like when you're outside walking around in your prosthetic leg, does your residual limb get colder, or is it a good temperature?
It can, if it's like where I live, it doesn't get really, really cold, luckily. So,
You
and
must be
I
getting at least -20 down there.
here,
Yeah, you're
no,
getting -20 and 30 down there, aren't you? No, you're laughing hysterically.
we're lucky if it's minus anything.
Really?
Actually, it has been cold the last few days. Like I
That's
think,
that's that shocks me a little bit.
yeah,
Okay.
no, I think the truth is we're sitting at -4 right now, but
So are we.
Yeah.
um -20, that's a very cold day here. You don't experience but I do live off of the water, and so we get the lake effect, which actually the wind chill the wind chill feels for it hits your bones when it
Yeah.
does. So if you go down to like the beach during the winter time, you'll feel it really bad.
Yeah.
But to your question, not so much unless it's really, really cold, and I just don't live in an area that's that cold. So, and I try to avoid them like the plague.
You never altered clothes?
No.
Okay. Just roll the sleeve up. I'm doing that double time now. I'm rolling multiple sleeves every day. I roll my own sleeves and I gotta roll Ava's sleeves. Constantly following her around. She's always like, she asks for help. She's like, "Oh, roll my sleeve, roll my sleeve."
I think when I was younger, there was more stuff we tried to do for adaptive clothing wear, but as an adult, I've just learned like what works and what doesn't, and you kind of just shop around that because it's easier and cheaper. So
And you don't really think
Yeah.
about it, I think. Like, when you get older, it's not something that is really you really think about too much. It's just kind of an automatic.
you're in the habit of.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'm not like all about trends by any means. So it's not, I'm not out there being like, I need the new fashion, I need this, I need that, and it's not going to work for me. And that probably stems from this being a problem in my youth. And so you just kind of get used to being like, I'd rather be comfortable and just go with what I know. But that's my own personal opinion and my own experience.
Absolutely.
If anybody's watching, if you have questions about adaptive clothing wear or other tips and tricks we may not have brought up, or you have your own, drop them down below. We would absolutely love to hear other people's as well, because you know what works for one of us doesn't work for everybody. If you haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the like button if you actually enjoyed this content, and as well as the bell notification so that you can get notified for all other videos that we upload in the future. Until next time, peace, take care.
Bye, everyone.